Welcome to the World of Horror podcast with Mom and Mac. I'm Mom.
And I'm Mac.
This is the podcast where we share our love of international horror. Everyone has their fears, but we are not afraid of subtitles. Disclaimers for adult language and spoilers. Hi, Mac. How's it going?
Hi, Mom. It's Friday. Friday, as we say. And yeah, I will say, I feel like I got no thoughts in my head right now. This morning I went to CrossFit and they asked me, how was your week? What are you doing this weekend? And I was like, I don't know. Actually, I have something exciting. You already know, but Wohos, you don't know one part about it. But, okay, Wohos, there was a kitten that was coming to my partner and I's patio, and we loved this kitten. We named it Teachy, and we thought it was a boy, turns out it's a girl. Every day, Teachy began to like I'd go to CrossFit, I'd come back, she'd be sitting on like our welcome mat. So I grew attached to her, and then like whenever I'd open up the door, she'd be kind of like, I want to go in there. And I felt so bad being like, no, you have to be out here in the cold. Those two cats get to have a good life. You don't. That's how I felt. It came across to Teachy. And I mean, Teachy survived through like snow and the cold. And eventually I was just like, I can't take it anymore. We have to do something. And so we called the vet, and the vet was like, you should just give the cat to the shelter. It's a shelter that euthanizes, but they do their best to not do that. So we were like, okay. So we trapped Teachy. It felt really bad, but we did it. I fed Teachy like 5 tubes of churu as we waited for the shelter to come, or like, animal control. They took her, and then her photo was so sad. Like her eyes were huge and she just looked like, where am I? But my thought, Wohos, was like, this cat seems like it could have a home. Not that it's a stray, like it's been lost, but that, like, there's cats where you're like, that's a feral cat. Like that cat, there's no bringing that cat inside. It'll be miserable. But this cat, I was like, she wants to go inside. And she looked like a kitten, like an adult, like teenage kitten. So I was like, there must be hope. And so she sat on the shelter website for like a month. I checked her page every day because they had an adoption and lost and found. She was just in lost and found. So I was like, oh no, they're going to put her down. I was like, I delivered her up to be put down is how I felt. But then the page changed. Now it said spayed. I was like, okay, well, why would they spay a cat that they're going to put down? Then I check yesterday, she's gone. Oh my God, my heart sinks. I'm like, I'm basically a murderer is how I felt, and was so sad. And I thought, wait, they transfer cats to shelters. I checked another shelter. Now I cannot confirm that this is her yet. I didn't call because I'm too scared to call and find out that it's not her, but I'm going to tell myself it's her. It looks just like her. It says transferred from the shelter, 1-year-old, recent medical stuff, very shy, but looking to meet, her forever person. So Alan and I are going to go this weekend, not to adopt her because our place is too small, but to I feel like if I see her in person, I'll be like, oh, that's her. So yeah, if it is her, that's like my dream come true. Like so many days I was like, if only this cat could have like a good life, and now maybe she will. So Very excited.
Well, you guys did a good thing either way, but I know you want it to be her really bad.
Yeah. I told myself, like, if she did get euthanized, I would hope it would be like she was hurting because she was sick. Like she had like something was up with her paw and her nose. So I was like, and also either way, she has to get medical attention. So, but I think it's her. So I've always wanted to like do something like that. And she's so cute. So, I mean, I do feel like an owner. I'm kind of like, do I want this cat? Our place is a little bit too small, but I'm like, I kind of want her.
Aw. Well, maybe you can see her status and, I mean, I'm sure
Mhm.
she'll be adopted. She's like a Russian blue or something like that. Like
She's so
really pretty. So I think someone will take her.
For sure. I have no doubt.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what's new with me. How about you?
Well, I've got 2 weeks of school left, and that's what I'm sort of hanging on to. I'm very excited. So today I had the plan to show them a Black Mirror episode,
Oh,
but when I went to load it up, I remembered that for some reason the projector doesn't like to play videos that aren't on YouTube. Like if it's anything that, is like on a different platform, doesn't like to play videos. So I was like, well, there goes that hour of instruction that I had planned.
no.
So on Monday, we were going to do sexual ethics. So I'm like, I'll just like get them started thinking about it, and if I have to let them go early, I let them go early. That's fine. We went all the way up to the hour and they were happy to, I mean, all of a sudden they're like, oh shit, they got to like pack up. So that was really great. So yeah, they were really happy to talk about it. These are kids who most of them went to public school in North Carolina, so they didn't get the greatest education in terms of contraception or anything like that, but they feel like they should have. So
I love that.
Yeah. And then this one girl, she wanted to talk about abortion. And so I sort of opened the door a little bit. Like I didn't know where she would be coming from, but she was giving all these really great pro-choice arguments and stuff. Just really surprised me because I'm primed for them to be like, Jesus said, it's a precious little rainbow or something, like, so that's what I'm expecting is going to come out of their mouth. Not like, well, why do the rights of, she's like, it's not even a baby. It's a cluster of cells. Why do the rights of that trump the rights of a fully grown, capable person with like memories and plans and ambitions? And I was just like, damn,
whoa,
girl, let her cook. She was amazing.
Passionate.
Yeah, it was great. So that was really fun. And next weekend, Quinn and I are going to be in an art show.
So exciting.
Yeah, so I've been buying stuff. Like I bought a tent and I bought a wagon and I bought some tables because I didn't feel like clearing off the tables in my basement. And so that was a little extravagant, but I'm like, you know what? I'm so stressed out over this. I'm not going to worry about it.
No. And, I feel like that stuff feels it's a good dopamine rush. I've been buying stuff. I'm so embarrassed of the packages I haven't opened yet. Like, why did I even get it if I'm not using it? But it felt really good to buy it.
Mm-hmm. I love buying stuff and having it delivered to the house.
Me too. Oh my God. Dad was such a fiend. When I'd go over to his house, every single time I visited him, like 3 packages outside. I don't even know. Well, actually, I do know because I had to take all of it, but I don't know what he did with all of it. He just put it up and then now it's in a box for me.
Yeah, my boyfriend is like going through this purging stage. So I'm sort of feeling a little bit like that's a good idea. I should get into that mode. And I will, I think this summer, but I've got a couple weeks left of school and I just have to get through that. And then I can sort of get into summer mode. But like one thing I want to do, I want to make like long lists of things to like, organize and purge in my house this summer.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah, it'll feel good.
Yeah.
It's good to get rid of like old stuff.
Oh, I agree for sure. Like I have so many boxes in my apartment. Less now. I did a little bit of a purge like 2 weeks ago, but they become part of the wallpaper, kind of, and that's not good. And then when you get rid of them, it's like, wow, I actually have so much space.
Well, I had this really big chair that Rosie had sort of turned into a scratching post. So we had bulk garbage pickup today. So I put it out on the curb and somebody took it, either the city or somebody driving by. I mean, if I knew how to reupholster things, I definitely would have kept that chair. But I sent you a picture of the new one that I'm going to put in my house. I'm very excited.
It's so pretty.
So apparently they say that cats don't like the sensation of velvet. So if you can buy velvet or velvet-like material, they don't like to scratch it. So.
I think that's true. I think it's pretty staticky because I have a velvet chair right here and Hoshi loves to sleep on it, but they've actually never scratched it. Now that you say that, I'm like, yeah, wow, they've never scratched that up.
Yeah. So I'm going to give it a shot. If she does want to scratch the new chair,
just I'll
have to
give her, sell her to the circus.
No,
I'm just kidding.
I'll have to politely ask her to please not do that.
That's what I say to Luffy is when he gets really annoying. I'm like, I'm going to sell you to the circus. And he goes, well.
You wouldn't do that, would you, Mac?
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, well, you can't squirt them with water anymore. When I was a kid, you used to be able to do that.
Is it outlawed?
Well, I think it's out of fashion. In terms of...
Luffy, he likes it, so that's why I can't do it on him. It's because he'll take it and be like, "This is cool." He'll try to like eat it. Foiled again.
Luffy's a goofball.
He's like, just in the corner. He's so cute. I was going to say, your class, I bet, is so fun because when you're young, all you want to do is talk about like your beliefs and like what you, like, you're shoring up who you are as like a person, I feel like. And I feel like it's the thing you want most is to be like, hey, everybody, this is what I think about this topic. So I'm always shocked when you say that some people don't want to talk. Because I'm like, why not? This is like your big moment.
Yeah, there were some talkers today, and I was really happy for that. But yeah, this group, for some reason, is really quiet. So I just feel like I've got to like tap dance for 2 hours, and it's just really, really tiring.
That's a lot.
Yeah, whereas most of the time, usually I can plan for like, and then they'll talk for 20 minutes or something, so, but I can't do that with this group. So you never know. So it was a delightful surprise today when they wanted to talk.
That's nice.
Yeah. So I hope they keep it up for the rest of the year, which is 5 more classes. So,
but still, that would be nice.
I'm so excited. Can't wait till I'm not teaching them anymore.
Bye.
Yeah. Don't let the door hit you on their way out. No, I love them, but I'm really tired and I'm really checked out. And I'm not the only one, it just sort of gets to this point in this semester and everybody's just like exhausted. And my school always likes to load us up with the work at the very last minute. And so you always know that's coming, but it's always just like the audacity, every time. It's just like, why is there more to do when there's less than a month of school left?
That's so stupid.
Yeah, it's so dumb. But I think it's just human nature. Everybody just waits to the last minute. So like our supervisor's like, oh shit, I got to get these guys to, be all certified in this one platform or whatever.
Ugh.
Yeah. It's the worst.
Hate having a job. I'm remembering that when I first got this job, I literally had the thought, man, Sundays aren't even that bad because I don't hate being at work on Monday. Well, that's gone. That's that. Wow. I can't fathom thinking that because now every time at work, I'm just like, fuck this. I hate this so much. And my boss will just talk and she's she is the best boss I've ever had. I'm not going to say she's like the best boss that's ever existed or anything, but like she'll just be talking. And now that I've checked out, I'm just like, shut up. I just want to be like, I don't care. I don't care. Like, our weekly meetings can just be like, are you alive? Okay. Now we're good. I don't need you to tell me all this shit. I don't care. They literally do not pay me enough to care. I saw some like a funny tweet or something online where somebody was like, hey, if I worked at Walmart and they paid me $100K a year, I'd be the biggest try hard. Like, I'd be like, everybody wear, like, have your uniform straight. And like, that's so true. If they paid me an amount that I was like, oh, I feel respected, oh my God, I'd show up every day full of life and energy. Like, I'm not ungrateful. I'm ungrateful right now, but that's because I don't feel like there's much to be grateful for at my job. So,
You've been at this job for a while.
yeah, I think it's my longest ever job. And I just got a raise, and you might think, wow, that's awesome. Okay, sometimes a raise can really feel like you might as well not have even given me anything. Now I'm just pissed off. Like, because now I know it's also going to be like a year or two to get more than this paltry sum. And now I'm just mad. And they had the gall to be like, you know, we really value you at this company and your work. I'm like, really? Because at my last job, this would have been like baked in like a cost of living raise. Like, that's how small it was, where it's kind of like, great, I'm not losing money now. Awesome. You're almost close to the inflation amount. Wow, thank you.
Well, at least you're not a debt collector, Mac.
Hey,
it could be worse.
It could. Honestly, watching this movie, I'll take back everything I said. It actually could be so much worse.
This week, Wohos, we're talking about ghosts. And our first movie is called A Chinese Ghost Story. Here's the short plot summary from IMDb. A debt collector has no other choice than to spend the night in a haunted temple where he encounters a female ghost whom he falls in love with. To save her soul, he must work with a monk to defeat the tree demon who owns her spirit.
Dane, that's on IMDb? That's the whole plot.
I know. I was like, wait a second, tree demon? Well, yeah, I guess that's right. That does make sense, but I didn't think of it that way. And I apologize in advance for butchering the Chinese here, but this is directed by Ching Xiu-tung, written by Yuan Kai-chi, based on Nie Xiao Qian by Pu Songling, starring Leslie Chung, Joey Wong, and Wu Ma. Cinematography by Poon Heng Sang, Sander Lee, Tom Lau, and Wong Wing Hang. Music by Romeo Diaz and James Wong. The release date was the 18th of July, 1987 in Hong Kong, and it has a running time of 98 minutes. How did you feel about this runtime, Mac?
First off, I did enjoy this movie, but I will say I did have a few moments where I paused and I went, now what could possibly happen in 45 minutes? And they surprised me, but I still think maybe there's like 15 to 20 minutes that could have been left on the cutting room floor.
Yeah, I watched this twice, and the first time I watched it, I paused it, and I had half the movie left. And I was just like, what? How can that be? But it could be. This is a movie that has everything. So it was really enjoyable. But
yes,
you know, you sort of have to be in the right headspace, I think. And fortunately, I was.
You got to be in a goofy mood. It's a goofy ass movie.
Yeah. Well, there are at least 2 more in the series. So
that's shocking.
I didn't have a look, but I might. We meet hapless debt collector Ling Choi-san. We have some setup scenes here. He has rock hard bread that like literally cracks a rock in half. The rain is coming down and he has a torn parasol. There's a funny bit with the debt collection book. All his stuff has gotten wet. So when he opens up his book, there's just black ink inside, like all the records have been destroyed. A painting catches Choi San's eye, but he has no money and worse, needs a place to stay for free. Someone at the Hungry Ghost Festival jokingly suggests the Orchid Temple, but Choi San is desperate and is not deterred by the warnings he hears from the people, including the warning that there are wolves in the woods. In fact, he does see some wolves with glowing red eyes.
I love all the effects in this movie. It's so charming.
Super cute animation. He meets Yim Chik-ha, who is fighting with another swordsman. Choi San finds himself literally in the middle of their fight. He implores the men to be nice to each other because, quote, love is the strongest weapon of them all. Choi San cuts his finger, which awakens zombies. Oh, yeah.
They're like all stop animation and like they're like eyes. Like it's kind of goofy looking because they have full eyeballs and like mummified faces, but I love it.
Yeah. They kind of look like they're made of embers.
Yeah, they do.
Very cool effect. We see a beautiful woman bathing. She makes love with the swordsman, who shortly thereafter becomes zombified. Chik-ha destroys him. And Chik-ha has this sort of technique where he cuts his hand so that he can draw the yin-yang symbol. And he says the universe is infinite. And he kind of kapows them with his hand, like shoots fireballs from his hand. It's very cool.
It is like an anime. It's like universe is infinite. Pew, 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 pew. And then like little like explosions in the ground. It's great.
Choi San comes across the woman playing a zither at the end of a pier. She says it is sad that he came to the wrong place and now he must die a wrongful death. He notices that she has left her zither and he chases after her. Chik-ha joins the chase to save Choi San. There is a bit with the snake. Yeah. So there's a snake that is threatening to bite them. And so he's trying to be all brave, like, I'll take care of this snake. But he's way out of his depth and he's really afraid. And so she just takes him and like moves his body so he can't see. And she takes the snake and throws it into the tree. So
these are all my favorite scenes. They're so cute. And like, I love the feeling of like, oh, he's, she's got so much power in this realm and finds him so cute though, that, she's having fun with him. It was very sweet.
And she wants to protect his ego. I think that's really sweet. Choi San volunteers to act as a decoy so the woman Nip Siu Shin can get away. They plan to meet the next night at the pavilion. Chik-ha gets into a shouting match with the ghosts who try to convince him they're all on the same path.
That made me laugh really hard.
I missed this. So Chik-ha is like sort of misanthropist. He's retired from life. He's just living near the Orchid Temple. He doesn't really want to have anything to do with humanity. And I think the ghosts are like, yeah, neither do we. We love killing guys, so we're on the same path. And he's like, we're not on the same path. Choi San finds a torn piece of Siu Shin's clothing, which warns him to go away since he is a good person. Back at the temple, Choi San knocks all the zombies into a hole under his room. Yeah, anytime there's anything with the zombies, he doesn't see them. He's just sort of haplessly bumping into things which cause the zombies to fall down or, whatever. It's really hilarious.
It's very silly.
Chik-ha also warns Choi San to leave because there are ghosts there. To scare him off, Chikha even threatens death in order to save him. During their argument, Choi San's pants are torn off by one of the zombies. Choi San asks Chikha where is his bottom half, and Chikha answers, attached to your top half. I thought that was a pretty good joke.
Yeah.
Choi San decides to make up some debts. Yeah, he's just going to create some debts because the debt book is completely destroyed. So he's like, I'm just going to make some up and write them in this book and get some money. So he does that. And we get the bit with the ink tray and the ladder. He knocks the ink tray down into the hole where the zombies are. And he climbs down the ladder very slowly as the zombies are waking up. And then he just sort of stretches and he sees that there's like a window that's obscured. So he goes over to it, opens the window, and the sunlight comes in and fries all the zombies.
That also made me laugh out loud. They're like, oh! And he doesn't hear their like little squeals. Also, when he throws the ladder down, it goes right on top of a zombie, which is like,
yes. Choi San sees Siu Shin in a funeral procession at the Hungry Ghost Festival. He has made money with his forgery scheme and goes to find the painting he admired the day before, but the vendor can't find it. And then we get a sort of a interstitial title card, The Water Residence. Choi San comes to tell Siu Shin he is leaving the next day. She hides him in a tub of water so the old dame can't smell him. The old dame whips Siu Shin and tells her she has arranged for Siu Shin to marry the lord of the Dark Mountain. Siu Shin rips her bridal clothes as a distraction, and as a result, Choi San sees her nude body. At one point, she gets into the tub with Choi San. She gives him the painting, which she says is of her, but as morning dawns, she says cruel things to him to get him to leave, and he leaves the painting.
There's so many like anime-esque scenes, or I mean, maybe anime got it from movies like this, but like when he first meets her, also like he falls and his hands are right on her boobs and he's like, oh, and you know, her like opening up her robe and him being like, oh, so many like anime moments are just like that. It's so ridiculous.
And she has to, she's trying to get him to stay underwater. So she just like blows a bunch of air into his open mouth. So it's kind of like they're kissing and kind of not. Chikha appears to be on a wanted poster at the Hungry Ghost Festival. So even though Choi San is heartbroken, he wants to save Siu Sin. Choi San steals a horse to go back to the temple. Chikha sings and dances about the Taoist way.
Okay, top 10 scenes of all time in cinema. It's like an 80s music track in the background and he's just like singing and dancing. It's so random.
It is. It's so great. And he's like, you may know the way of the heavens, or you may know the way of the earth, but I have my own way. And
he's the best.
He is so awesome. Siu Sin is with a man, but when she runs away, a giant tongue wraps up the man. Siu Sin and Choi San make love and try to forget Siu Sin will have to get married in a few days. She admits she is a ghost. He comes across her sister who tries to attack him. But Siu Sin and Chikha fight her and Chikha decapitates her.
I also love all the shots of Siu Shin, like when she's flying through the air, she has these really long flowy fabrics and they just like trail behind her and stuff. And they do such a good job with it almost seeming like her body is ethereal by like having the stuff wrap around things. And so there's a lot of that in this scene where she's grabbing him and they're just kind of flitting through the air. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty great. There's a comedic scene next. It's a scene in court. The magistrate just wants money and to beat Choi San. Choi San says he has found Lao Yat Dao, the murderer, but it turns out Lao Yat Dao was arrested earlier that day. Chik Ha descends on the court and is revealed to be a constable. Choi San still believes him to be a killer, but Chik Ha says he has only killed a female ghost. Since the case is supernatural and not human, the court is adjourned for free. I really loved that scene. I think that was my favorite one. Chik Ha says there are only ghosts and wind spirits at the Orchid Temple. He shows Choi San Siu Shin's gravestone and convinces Choi San to leave, but then decides to use Choi San as bait to kill Siu Shin. Chik Ha gives Choi San a bell and a diamond sutra as protection. Siu Shin goes to Choi San, who is thoroughly freaked out. Siu Shin explains she is under the old dame's control and she only seduced men so the old dame could steal their energy. She explains she was from a wealthy family and was killed. Her father temporarily buried her at the bottom of a tree and was killed before he could move her remains. And then we get one of the greatest fight scenes ever. This is what I meant when I said I have never seen this in film before. They get into a fight with the old dame's tongue.
It's so good. Like there's so many parts to the tongue. It's like the tongue itself, all the scenes with the floor, like it like breaking through walls and stuff or coming through the ground, and then when it like has almost like a face of its own and opens up to the old dame's face in the middle, like my mind was blown. And it also gave like The Thing a little bit, like all the little like feelers reminded me of The Thing.
Yes.
Yeah, like you can't, stuff just doesn't look this cool now. Not to always be such a hater for CGI, but like this is so much cooler than like anything ever made in CGI, in my opinion.
Yeah, really cool stuff. The old dame lashes Choi San to a tree with tree branches, but Chik Ha saves Choi San. And then we have a fight with Chik Ha and the tongue. Chik Ha agrees to move Siu Shin's remains to her village. Yeah, there's this conflict for a while because Chik Ha, is like, why are you trying to save this ghost? Like, she's on the side of evil. And he's like, you don't understand. She's only doing all that bad stuff because she was under the control of the old dame. And she didn't, it's not her fault. She's a ghost. She was like buried at the bottom of this tree. At an inn, they get out all the burial urns. Oh, sorry, I skipped a part. Chik Ha agrees to move Siu Shin's remains to her village. They recover burial urns from the bottom of the tree. At an inn, they get out all the urns. Siu Shin appears, but Chik Ha notices that there is an evil aura at the inn. Siu Shin is kidnapped into the underworld. Chik Ha and Choi San go to retrieve Siu Shin. And there's this huge battle. I just wrote battle. I mean,
it's crazy. Like spiritual swords. The part where she's flying towards like the Lord of the Black Mountain, and then his like cloak opens, and there's all these women, like female ghosts that all come out at her and like push her back. Oh my god, it's
and
so cool. It's so creepy.
Like they're like heads, and they fly toward her, and like really cool stuff. The creature design is just really great. And yeah, when she's flying through the air or is he flying through the air at one point and he kind of looks down like, whoa, this is cool.
Yeah. And they try to escape, but they go back up to this, like they go up against a mountain and has all these holes, and then all these arms come out of the holes and start like grabbing at them. It's so creepy.
Yeah. Back in the mortal realm, the sun has already risen. Siu Shin goes back into her burial urn. Choi San and Hero Yim, Chik Ha, return her to her village and pray over her grave. Then they spot a rainbow and are off to their next adventure.
They really pray, and then Choi-san is just like, all right, follow that rainbow, we're good now. I just lost the love of my life, but let's go.
This was such a fun movie.
Yeah, I was not expecting it, but I think from the first scene though, like that goofy scene with him and his hard bread that like also, you know, makes a hole in his shoe or something, you just know like, okay, this is about to be goofy. But the goofiness is like it hits. Like it's not, it is stupid, but it's not like groan inducing. I think it's all very fun. And even though there's serious moments, I feel like that makes you fall in love with the characters. So then you are like, I don't want anything bad to happen to them. Like I care about him. Like I really did love Choi-san. I thought he was like an amazing character. I thought him and Sushin were really cute. And I loved Hiro Yim. And I loved the whole thing looks kind of janky, but also amazing. Like Hiro Yim's got all of his hair is fake, like fake beard, fake eyebrows. Choi-san's got fake hair. Like you can just see the seam, but I don't even care. Like that makes it better. And also all the dubbing is off. Like none of the lip flaps ever match what is being said. I'm here for it.
There was that one scene where I think this was like part of the tongue battle. So Choi-san he's got like stuff all over his face, but I think it was eggs that they had on Hiro Yim's face, and that fake beard was just like coated in these egg yolks, and it was just like so disgusting. And the scene goes on, and I was just like kind of like not looking at the screen during that point. It was so gross.
Can we get him a towel, please?
It's got to feel just awful as it's hardening on this poor guy's face. Well, here's some trivia. Director Hark Sui initially selected Japanese pop singer Akina Nakamori for the role of Nie Shiochian. She declined the offer because she misunderstood the supernatural nature of the source material by Pu Songling and preferred not to portray a ghost. Joey Wang initially struggled to capture the appropriate historical mannerisms required for her role during the screen test. Although the casting department recognized her screen presence, producer Margaret Hafner required her to attend Peking opera performances. This training allowed her to observe traditional movements and become accustomed to wearing period costumes, ensuring her performance aligned with the Ming Dynasty setting.
She was very graceful, so
I thought so too.
I think it paid off.
Well, briefly, what does Letterboxd have to say about it? Kobe Rules gave it a 0.5 star. While it's not without its charms, the judge who spends the entire trial/hearing just begging someone to bribe him stands out. A Chinese Ghost Story was much too far towards campy, overcooked B-movie side of the spectrum for my taste. Well, not mine. I loved it.
I agree to disagree. That was what I liked about it.
Eli Harris gave it 1 star. I refuse to believe there was a screenplay, and this wasn't just driven by, sure, why not?
I don't care if it was.
Viola Sedai gave it 2 stars. Peter made us watch this. Admittedly, I was just too tired for subtitles, but still nonsense.
I mean, if it's going to have subtitles, like, I don't think you can judge a movie if you, like, didn't pay attention to them.
Yeah.
The story's kind of complicated.
Yeah.
So.
Amandalina88 gave it 5 stars. What an absolute treat. The combination of rom-com meets buddy comedy meets kung fu action meets horror was incredible and somehow just what I needed. I laughed, I was moved, and totally sucked into the world this film built. Siu Shin was so beautiful and ethereal. The effects with her silk scarves was truly amazing. I had an awful day, and this story just felt like a nice hot bowl of chicken soup, 10 out of 10. Oh, and shout out to the random Taoist monk rap in the middle. No notes.
Yes.
So for the questions, how would we rate it?
Urns?
Sure. Burial urn?
5 whole urns.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think this is a masterpiece, honestly. I think it's free on Amazon Prime. If you have 98 minutes really is not that long.
No.
If you got 98 minutes and you want like Amanda said, or Amando said, a hot bowl of chicken soup-esque movie, watch this movie. I really don't think you'll be disappointed. And I think you will have fun.
Yeah, it is a good time. You won't be bored, that's for sure.
No, never.
It's pretty breakneck. What have we learned?
I guess be a nice person. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I guess being a nice person, it's not necessarily that like Choi San even had a good life before this or like was respected, but he was such a chill, good guy that a ghost was like, I won't kill you. And a grizzled old constable was like, I need to protect you with my life. So, you know, I think good karma comes back around. And if you are sweet and just try to do the right thing, I think that is ultimately the best thing anybody can do.
Yeah, I agree. And also, don't judge a book by its cover. I mean, maybe what seems like an evil spirit is actually a ghost that, you know, can't help it that she's disturbed because she wasn't buried properly. It's not her fault.
You ever think about that?
Yeah. Would we watch it again?
Yeah.
Yes. Favorite scene or kill?
I mean, the fight scene's great. Like you said, the court scene, amazing. I love all the scenes of like Su Shen and Choi San like really falling in love. I don't know. Even the whole beginning part, so cute. Like you're just like, I love this guy immediately. So
yeah, that's
the whole
true.
movie.
Yeah, it only takes maybe 2 minutes and we love him. You know,
Yeah.
Because he's just so down on his luck and he's just trying to make a living and, you know, he can't help it that his parasol is all busted to shit and it's pouring rain outside.
And it's such a, like, there's a scene in the very beginning, the opening credits, where this, like, the guy who's later killed by Hiro Yim, like, just kills a bunch of guys and blood splatters all over Choi-san's face. He gives him, like a rice ball, and he kind of, like, eats it while the guy's there, but spits it out because he's like, I don't want to eat something given to me by an evil man. Like, that speaks a lot to his character.
Yeah, he must have been starving by that point. You're right.
Yeah, but he's like, nope, this is not okay.
Yeah. Who wins the You Fool award?
The
old dame.
Yeah. She shouldn't have been doing all that. Maybe the sister too. Like, she kind of, you know, shouldn't have messed with Hiro Yim, that's for sure.
No, that's for darn sure. Got decapitated in short order. All right. Well, that was a Chinese ghost story.
All right. Our next film is Ghostwatch. Here is a short plot summary from IMDb. In a live broadcast on Halloween night, a BBC team investigates a reported poltergeist in an ordinary London home. It was written by Stephen Folk and directed by Leslie Manning. It stars Michael Parkinson, Sarah Green, Mike Smith, Craig Charles, Gillian Bevan, and Keith Ferrari. The editor was Chris Swanton, with a running time of 91 minutes, released October 31st, 1992. Man, I love this movie. It might be like, I don't know, in my top like ghost movies, definitely, of all time. Wanted to start off by asking you, what is your thought about ghosts?
Well, I have felt presences at different times in my life, and we lived in a duplex one time when you were in middle school, and that place was haunted. I felt things pulling at my hair and pulling on my toes, and I heard laughter sometimes. I mean, I'm pretty sure there was like a bunch of like at least energy in the place that is like hard to explain, and phenomena that could not be explained. I don't feel anything here, except every once in a while I think there might be cat ghosts in the house or like animal ghosts, but I don't think there are any human ghosts here.
Yeah, I've never felt a single thing at this place. I mean, I certainly hear a lot of banging, but it's just from the neighbors upstairs. Unless there are no neighbors. But I love the idea of ghosts. Like, as a horror concept, I like them. I love me a ghost story. It's hard for me to believe any ghost video ever, because I mean, I'm kind of with the skeptic on this one. It's like any video I see, I'm like, I don't know, you didn't pick that. Like, I really think ghosts are a thing you have to feel. And I believe people when they feel them. Like, I'm like, you don't make that shit up. Like, there's something going on if you feel, I don't know what it is, but like, nobody just wakes up one day and they're like, I think I'm just going to lie for fun. Like, I think, those things are felt, but maybe not exactly like this movie. But I love this concept. Like, and I mean, I wasn't even alive when this was aired and am not British, but looking at some of the comments online, this traumatized so many people, which I find, like, no offense to I'm sure it would be traumatizing, but that's awesome. Like, I think they did such a good job with this I want to give a disclaimer to WOHOs. I know we might say this frequently, but I really mean it with this one. If there's any interest you have in seeing this movie, please pause and go watch it. It's not that long. I mean this wholeheartedly. I wouldn't just say this. I think your time is precious, but I really do mean it when I say, if the idea of a fake TV show with ghosts sounds even just a little interesting, stop, go watch it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to ruin it. You should still watch it. If you listen, thank you for listening. But I just want to say that. Okay. So here's the plot. And this is very TV style. I wish I could have watched this on like a CRT TV. It just has that. I don't know. It just looks like a TV show. It's all done so well. So on Halloween night, there's a live TV broadcast, and TV presenter Michael Parkinson explains that a house on Fox Hill Drive has been the subject of a supernatural investigation. So we get to see, some home footage taken of things flying around the room. There's a light bulb that explodes, and there's two, like a 13-year-old girl and like a younger sister freak out and they run out of the room. So we meet Pam Early, who's their mother, and she's interviewed by Craig, one of the newscasters. She lives in the house with her daughters, Suzanne and Kim. Excuse me, I skipped something. So we have Craig Charles, who is a well-known ghost hunter, at the scene, and in studio, a bank of phones have been set up for calls. They keep showing like a phone number, like, oh, if you have anything you want to say to us, like, call in. We got this lady, Sarah Green. She's going to be spending the night in the house. Her husband, Mike Smith, is the guy in charge of all the phones. And, this movie has like a lot of like little segments, just like a TV show. Like the whole thing is supposed to be like all of this is happening at once, but we switch a lot from being in the house to getting testimonials to debating the existence of ghosts. It's very fun. Mm-hmm. So that's when we meet Pam early, the householder, who's interviewed by Craig. She lives in the house with her daughters, Suzanne and Kim, and says that the ghost has ruined several teapots and other household items, but also her family, most importantly. And the acting is very good. It's very just like this is a normal woman, like who's not used to being on camera maybe, and who's kind of like, she doesn't, I mean this in a good way. She doesn't really have a lot of like charisma, but it just feels like you're talking to a real scared woman, which is very good. Like she's just very quiet and it's just like, yeah, he's broken teapots, and it sounds like an interview. It immerses you immediately.
Yeah, this is like pre-social media, so yeah, you can cast your memory back to that time. Yeah, just really, like you said, people aren't used to being on camera or talking on the telephone when it's like live on the air. So it just sort of has that charm to it too.
For sure. So then we meet Dr. Lynn Pascoe, who is our like supernatural expert, and Alan Demescu, an electronics engineer and member of the Society for Physical Research, who is looking for any clues. And then we meet cameraman Chris Miller, who has a camera which has been adapted so that he can see infrared, which is so fun because you just know that's going to come up later. Like you just know, oh, there's going to be a creepy scene with infrared later. So Dr. Lynn Pascoe says that the house has the most tangible phenomena than any other house in the UK. And we get some interviews from Sarah, and we learn that the first instance was a presence which stood by the bedside of Suzanne. And then a few days later, there was a pounding in Pam's room. Little Kimmy says that the ghost Pipes hides in a corner of the girl's bedroom, but that he lives in the cupboard beneath the stairs. Now, okay, quick mention. Hey, British Wilhos, get in touch because they make the claim, those little cupboards, those tiny rooms, under the stairs. Miss Pam Early is like, when I was a kid, we called these glory holes. And then the entire movie, they're like, yeah, he's in the glory hole. And I was like, well, I guess that's a British thing. I've never heard that in my life. It kind of takes you like, oh, he's where?
I think, okay, I thought it was just like a cupboard, underneath the stairs, but I actually think it leads into the basement.
Oh.
So it's just a sort of like little passageway underneath the stairs that leads to the basement.
You mean a glory hole? That leads
yes.
to the basement? I can't. Oh, I can't. So we get a moment where they say that they have several callers claiming that they have seen a dark figure on the tape shown earlier. And this was fun because I'm pretty sure when they first show the clip, he's not there.
Right.
But now the second time, they've doctored it. And so you are like, well, I didn't see that at first. But I knew it hadn't been there because I was looking. The first time I was like, where's this ghost? And I didn't see anything. But the second time, you definitely see like a silhouette, which is our first glimpse of Pipes. Here's a fun thing. There's so many instances of Pipes that I did not notice the first time. A lot that I did, but I looked up later, like Pipes moment, because I was like, there must be things I didn't see. So many moments I did not see, which is so creepy. Oh, so fun. I love that. So Michael and Lynn don't seem to be able to see it. And then some other callers say that they have various paranormal activity in their own houses. There's like a little fun moment where they like bring out a little TV and he says like, use the light pencil to like, because they kind of think they see him. And it just feels so like, this is a time capsule, this whole movie.
Yeah.
It's so great. Because you could just right now do that so easily on a screen. But back then you got this giant TV and a light pencil. It was very fun.
It was so frustrating as a viewer, though, because I saw the silhouette of Pipes for sure. I know I did. And they
Yeah.
just like didn't go to the right place on the tape. They're like, we don't see anything, you know?
You're like, he's there. So Pam early recounts a time where she felt she was pushed into the cupboard under the stairs and that a man was in there with her, breathing rotten cabbage breath onto her face. Ugh, that's foul. Pam wrote to the council, who said that everybody in the family should see a shrink, and tried to take the story to the press, who just mocked her. Now, I don't know much about British home ownership just through consuming British media. I've heard of the council. Like, this actually, like, moving house in America is not easy either. But I like this because so many times you watch a horror thing with a ghost in a house and you're like, get out of there, just move. But she's saying, we can't move. They won't let us go to a different place. So, that there's never a moment where you're just like, what, why is this happening? Like, I feel like all of it is explained and makes sense. And we see like the newspaper clippings of them saying like, oh, they're like a Satan worshiping family, which all feel like, I know British tabloids are just as crazy as American ones. So they look like Bat Boy is real type things. So this poor lady. So Kim goes to bed and Sarah begins to tell her own ghost story. Now, okay, here's the two parts in this movie one of two parts. Second part I'll mention later, where I was like, oh, this is definitely a British movie made in the 90s. And at first the movie was so good I forgot about it, but then I remembered, okay, this sequence feels a little bit racially charged for no reason. There is not a single Indian person in this film, okay? Like, but the story that Sarah tells is like of seeing this like Indian woman, like she's so clearly a ghost, and then they find out like, oh, there was like a Indian man who lived there who had two like, concubine-esque wives, and then they were killed or something, and then their bodies were never able to be properly buried. And it just felt like, if you're not going to even cast a single Indian person in your movie, and then I don't know, it felt kind of icky to me. So, but again, it's a really short part in the movie, but I felt like mentioning just like, hey, that whole part could have been done differently. It just kind of felt a little bit like, ooh,
It's extra scary.
Yeah, so exotic, and that felt kind of gross. So then we meet Dr. Silvestri doing his best impression of Jeff Goldblum. And he just doesn't believe in ghosts. And I just love it because immediately the supernatural expert is just like, you're full of shit. Like, she just is like so combative. If I was like, I'd be like, okay, why'd you even call me on the show? But Michael Parkinson says we have to call him so that we don't appear to be biased. So then we see that Sarah thinks that the house is cold now. There's a one moment where I'm like, and what did we know about house being cold? But she's just kind of like, oh, is this, nobody knows where the heater is? You can't bring up ghost being cold and then be like, why is it cold in here? But I digress. Chris's watch has stopped. That's a thing that we know happens. So then we get a moment where Craig's outside interviewing some of the neighbors, and he's got a very much like laissez-faire attitude where he's just kind of like, this shit's crazy, like this stupid, ooh, ghosts. Now here is a moment where Pipes is visible. I did not know this till I saw it later, but in the crowd, Pipes is visible because we get a drawing at one point from little Kimmy of Pipes. We know that he's got like one red eye. He's wearing like a all black outfit, and he's bald. And I didn't see it until I looked it up on YouTube, but you can see one such man in the crowd.
Oh my gosh.
So creepy. And they don't point it out in any way. So Craig, he's interviewing some neighbors. And I love this scene because he interviews two women. Like, and he's very much like, have you seen anything scary around here? And they're both like, this isn't funny. Like, this is like, like there was like a child who was like knifed or something, you know, it like really dark stuff. And I loved that. Like, I don't know, because you know, if you're watching a horror movie, obviously some things are going to happen, but the whole show feels very light up to this point, like your typical. But these two women do such a good job of just being like, I don't know why you're joking about this. Like, this is not funny at all. And I liked that a lot. But he instantly is kind of like, all right, well, moving on, and goes to talk to some other people. So then we cut back to Sarah, who finds this like perfect circle of like a damp area on the carpet. And she's like, nobody's been in here. We don't know what did this. She checks the ceiling, which was kind of nerve wracking. I start to get like, oh my gosh, what's happening? Like, you know, she's checking the ceiling. She's like taking a sample. It all starts to get really tense. Pasco thinks that the next step will occur, like in the house with things moving, like with the poltergeist moving things. So then this is such a tense scene. We start to hear banging on the walls. And so they go up to try to, you know, investigate it. Oh, wait. I think I skipped a part. Before this, there is a moment with all these papers strewn about. And like, this is when things are starting to ramp up and you're kind of like, oh, things are happening. And this was my first time spotting Pipes, where I literally like rewound a few times. It was like, that's him, because we just see all these children's drawings and Sarah goes to pick them up and she's like, who put these here? And then we get kind of jump scared by a cat that's outside and she's like, oh, did they have a cat? She stands up and in the reflection, there's a guy in the back who's like, definitely not one of the camera people. Like at first I was like, what, is that one of them? But I look back, I was like, no, that's him. And that freaked me out. That was so because they don't mention it at all. It's just like, they don't notice it. Amazing. I love stuff like that. So then we get to hear the pipes banging. And so they get really worried about the children. This scene is so tense. They're kind of like creeping up the stairs and Michael is talking to Sarah and her earpiece and is like, don't go up there. Like, you know, just wait. We haven't seen them. And then we still hear the banging and what's her name? Pasco is like, oh, can we pan to the landing? And this is a really creepy shot though. Of like, we see little Suzanne with a hammer kind of looking like almost gleefully banging on something, but it's a creepy shot. Like, it's just because she's doing it so fast and it just pans down to her doing that. And that's when it all starts to like the mood kind of changes in the whole crew, because now they all think this is a hoax. And Michael even seems to be a little bit angry. Like, he's like, oh, okay, so everybody was right about you guys. Like, you are just lying to everybody. But Pasco is like really fervent that she's like, no, like I've been there. Like, I've heard things. This can't be fake. And we even see some tapes and stuff because some people call in and people keep calling in saying like, we definitely see a shape in one of the clips. And they all seem to describe the same thing. A bald man, could be a man or a woman wearing like a all black button to the top outfit. And in an old interview with Kimmy, she describes Pipes the exact same way, which has Pasco kind of being like, why would this be the case? And she's like, this was never aired. So, you know, there must be something there. And her idea is this is them, Pipes throwing us off. It's all going to kick off now. So we go back up. Suzanne is in her room and has scratches all over her face. They're, you know, does look like somebody has scratched her all over. And she's like hot to the touch. And anytime somebody touches her, she's like, don't touch me. And, you know, Michael tries to argue like, oh, she did it to herself. But, you know, Pam's like, no, she didn't. And we can see her fingernails. They aren't bloody. So it's like, who did this? Someone then calls the station and tells the story of old woman Seddons, who was a baby killer who happened to live in that area. That's creepy. Kim, you know, Michael starts to be like, okay, well, I guess everybody should just like, we should leave, like shut this down. But Kimmy seems to be really fervent on nobody leaving. And that, you know, because, you know, there's been some talk of like, oh, is this just Suzanne? She's like a girl nearing puberty, is, you know,
She a
her
magnet?
dad has left. Yeah, she's a magnet for you know, as we all know, young girls about to enter puberty are just a magnet for poltergeists. To which, you know, the skeptic is like, or she's just, you know, a girl who's going through something. But then it's like, well, is Kimmy the magnet actually? Like, what, you know, what's going on? And there's so many scenes where like Pasco is just throwing shit out there, and, you know, Michael's just like, okay, like, what, you're the expert, like, you tell us. And so many scenes where she's like, I don't know. So Kimmy says that Pipes doesn't want them to leave, and Suzanne is clearly in shock. Now there's more banging from the walls, and, you know, the lights are kind of like, electricity is getting funky, and Kimmy is found by Sarah. Like, she opens up, like the fridge doors open. When she closes it, Kimmy's right behind the fridge door, and she has taken the eyes out of her bunny's face and like holds them out because she says that Pipe said the bunny was bad. This kid is so creepy. So then we get another anonymous call from a probation officer who reveals that Raymond Tunstall, who subletted there, was a disturbed pedophile who believed he was possessed by Sedans. Now, this is my second thing where I'm like, hey guys, this feels a little bit transphobic. I might be the friend that's too woke, but, you know, he's possessed by a woman. He starts wearing dresses. Oh, and then he hangs himself. Oh, and he's a pedophile. It's like, I don't know if all these details are necessary. Like, I get what they're going for, but I guess taken in the context of what we know, I'm not trying to paint a blanket picture of all British people, but, you know, a pretty transphobic place, you know, like, they don't have a good track record with not being transphobic towards trans women. So this just felt a bit charged to me as well. But the story is that Raymond Tunstall was a pedophile, thought he was possessed by this woman Sedans, wore dresses, hung himself under the stairs. I mean, this part goes on a little bit where you're like, this guy's definitely an actor. But he's like, and then, you know, after being there so long, his cats, well, they got hungry. It's like, yeah, okay. Like, we know. You don't have to draw it out like that. And so then Pasco suggests, well, maybe there's a greater force at play, an ancient evil. Maybe everything evil's always been concentrated in this space. It possessed Mother Sedans. It possessed Tunstall and countless others. Again, Michael goes, okay, like, what is it? And she goes, I don't know. So things start to get super crazy in the house. Suzanne disappears and is heard from behind the locked door. The camera crew, like, there's another scene where they're like panning around, and you definitely see Pipes at one point, like, and the camera even goes back to be like, what was that? They force the door to the glory hole open, and we definitely get a glimpse then too, but then the camera pans because a mirror falls and wounds the sound man. And so everything's getting crazy. Michael's like, get out of there. But then the footage cuts, and this really creeped me out, honestly. They're all like, oh, because, you know, they go back to Craig, who doesn't really hear them. Like, doesn't know he's on air, basically, and is just kind of talking shit with another guy. And they're just like, where is Sarah? Like, where is everybody? And it just cuts to a scene of them, what definitely looks like to be earlier in the night, of them like playing a board game with soda and stuff, and everything seems fine. And that is so creepy because you just know things are going down, but it's this creepy, just like, I don't know, facsimile of like a good wholesome time. And Michael is like, oh, well, I guess everything's under control now. And yeah, everybody's feeling kind of frazzled. But then Pasco realizes that the footage must be from earlier because there was a photo knocked off the wall during shit going down, and it's still there. So she's like, this isn't live. And says that Pipes has used the free will to create a nationwide seance circle. Now, this part I was like, okay, because out of nowhere, this lady who knows nothing the whole time is just like, what he's done is he's created a nationwide seance circle. He's been going into people's homes. What are you talking about? But okay. Then the live broadcast resumes. We see, an injured man get wheeled out, and Pamela and Kim are taken out, but we see no Suzanne. Inside, Sarah and Miller attempt to rescue Suzanne, and we get like the cool infrared footage, scary moment where, I mean, like my heart's racing. I'm just like, what is going to happen? And, they go up to the cup, the glory hole door, and, Green almost seems like she's being pulled inside. She thinks Suzanne's there, and like the cameraman tries to, pull her back. He's like, Sarah, no, but she goes through. And the door slams shut. And actually, here's another moment where you see Pipes is a flicker, and just for like a second, he's there.
Oh,
and
wow.
then when things start exploding in the studio, he's behind one of the lights that explodes. Is that so scary? Things are just going crazy in the studio. Everybody's leaving. And everything's dark, and Parkinson is still kind of there. And he's like, well, there's no cameraman here. Everything's dark. But then he starts to talk and just like say creepy shit to the camera. And it's clear that he has been now possessed by Pipes. And then the movie ends.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Super
It's
scary.
so good.
I don't know what he calls it, but it's basically the teleprompter. He's like, oh, the teleprompter's still working. And he's like round and round in the field, or whatever the chant was that Pipes used to say.
And you can't really see his face. Like, you just see like the bottom half of his face, and the camera's all askew.
Yes.
Oh, it's so creepy.
Really good.
Well, here's some trivia. Writer Stephen Volk found his inspiration for Ghostwatch in a real-life case from the late 1970s, referred to in the media as the Enfield poltergeist. This case occurred in North London and involved psychokinetic activity, allegedly witnessed by police, as well as a spirit speaking through a young girl in a demonic-sounding voice. Much of the documentation in Ghostwatch resembles that of the Enfield case, including the photograph on the cover of Dr. Pascoe's book. That's interesting.
Nice.
The BBC switchboard took an estimated 1 million phone inquiries and comments on the night of the transmission, because not everybody knew that this was not real.
Well, and all the cast basically are real life presenters. And so it's understandable. I was talking to a friend of mine about this movie and saying how, a lot of people thought it was real. And I'm like, it's kind of like Blair Witch Project. In my time, I had a friend who actually was like, do you think that could be real? And I'm like, no, Tammy, no. But anyway, my friend who's around your age was like, it's kind of like Paranormal Activity, right? And I'm like, did people think that Paranormal Activity was real?
If they did, that's crazy. Because it was like released in movie theaters.
Yeah.
I know Blair Witch was too, but like, non-actors and, I feel like the marketing around that I know was a lot more like, this is real, guys. Whereas Paranormal Activity, it was like, here's a movie that we made. What I would not give to, because this can't hit if I haven't grown up watching these presenters, but what must it have felt like on Halloween night watching this? Maybe if you didn't catch the first part, or like you just get sucked into it. I wish I could be like transported into the body of somebody who's like, oh, I recognize these people. Wait, like what's happening to them? Like that would be so cool.
Even just for a second. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Ghostwatch has never been repeated on UK television. It has been repeated internationally on stations such as the Canadian digital channel Scream for Halloween 2004, and the Belgian channel Canvas in 2008. It became available on the American streaming video service Shudder in 2017, and was made available on the Internet Archive the same year. It earned the dubious honor of being the first TV program to be cited in the British Medical Journal as having causing as having caused post-traumatic stress disorder in children. Oh no. Yikes. Well, maybe don't let your kids watch. I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's fair. There were definitely some movies I watched. Like Jaws really scared me as like a really little kid. I tried watching it so many times, and it's so funny because watching it now, I'm like, this is not scary in any way. But I was like, oh, this could really happen to you. You could really just be killed by a shark.
How old do you think you were when you first saw Jaws?
I don't know the first time I watched it all the way through, but I don't really remember. But I know it was like, it feels like it was when I was really young, and I don't know where or when or how, but I just remember being like, I can't watch it. I can't turn it off.
Well, I know your aunt saw it when she was 8, which is way too young.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she didn't want to take a bath or like go in pools or anything.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I used to watch like I Love the 80s with my brother on VH1, and even just the clips of like Nightmare on Elm Street kind of gave me nightmares, like just seeing like his hand come up from the bath, or like, but now it's funny because that is one of my favorite like classic like slasher movies. Like to me, Freddy Krueger is like the best. Maybe that's why. Well, what does Letterboxd have to say about it? Maloney5 gave it 5 stars. Now that is how you fucking do it. Agreed. Gabriel Laverty gave it 5 stars. This is insanely great and scary as shit. I can only imagine seeing it when it first aired. Absolutely amazing. Sam gave it 5 stars. Thank you, Jenny, for the rec. 10 out of 10. Actually, 5 out of 5. Don Knotts gave it a half star. Overly hyped claptrap. I waited 4 years to watch this. Probably the most highly recommended horror movie from the online community. Complete rip. I do think if it's been built up, perhaps that would be, if you like, I guess, well, Hose, if somehow you're hearing this and you haven't watched it yet, but you also didn't hear all the spoilers, like, I'm not saying it's the best thing ever witnessed. Just, I think it's a good film. I think the less you know going in to anything, the better. So yeah, I mean, I could see if somebody was like, this is the scariest. That was my experience watching The Blair Witch. Growing up, I was told, this is the scariest movie that's ever existed. And I watched it with my friend on her computer when we were in like 7th grade or something. And we were like, shit's not scary at all. Because I was thinking, oh, I'll be terrified.
Right.
I was like, they're not even doing anything. But now I think if I watched it, I could really get in the mood and be like, yeah, it's scary. The Laura B gave it a half star. Maybe you have to be British to find this good and or scary. I love that idea. Call blimey, this is a scary film. Well, I'm not British, so Althea 420 gave it a half star. Shite. Sorry, Seth. I need Seth's response. Well, how would we rate it? How about bent spoons?
Good one. I don't know.
I'm gonna give it 4.75.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, we're on the same page. Like, it's not perfect. Like Chinese Ghost Story, that might be a perfect film. This one's not perfect, but it's pretty close.
Yeah, it is pretty close. Couple of minor issues that are probably related to the time more than anything else.
Yeah. And they don't ruin the experience, but you are like, well, maybe you shouldn't have done that.
Didn't age well.
What have we learned? I mean, believe women.
That's right. Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know about ghost hunters. How do you feel about ghost hunters, Mac?
Shite.
Shite.
Good for movies. I love me like, what's that movie?
Grave
The Ghost Hunter
Encounters.
movie. Yes. Like I love that movie because those people, it's perfect for a movie because somebody who hunts ghosts seems like a stupid idiot. No offense. So when you see them get in over their head, it's like, yeah, it writes itself. But like I've never watched a full episode of any ghost hunting thing all the way through because it's just a infrared or not infrared, like a night vision of a guy being like, "What was that? What?" And it's like, I'm not there, so I don't know.
Yeah.
How about you? What do you think?
Well, I was going to say, I don't know if you want to go looking for trouble.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. I think, you might want to just let sleeping ghosts lie.
That's, yeah. Mm-hmm. Would we watch it again?
Yes.
Yes. Favorite scene and or kill?
Well, I guess I would say, and I didn't see any of the Pipes sightings, so I'm definitely going to have to watch it again. But there's something about when Sarah goes down into the kitchen and there are all those like drawings on the floor. For some reason, that just like completely scared me. Anytime there's anything like that, it's kind of like the Sixth Sense thing with all the cupboards and everything, or Poltergeist was there was a scene like that as well, where you like go out of the room and then you come back into the room and something has drastically changed and there hasn't been enough time for it to happen. I just find that really scary.
Yeah, and it's like a violation too. Like that stuff with poltergeist stuff, I feel like there's an insidious feeling of like, you've messed with my safe space, like my home. We're all supposed to feel safe here, but something I can't even see is moving my shit around. And like, what room am I ever safe in? Oh, gives me the heebie-jeebies. Yeah, I would say that's my favorite. Like that part was the part that I started to be like, oh shit, it's starting. Who wins the You Fool Award? Sarah.
Sarah?
Shouldn't have gone into that cupboard.
Oh, yeah. What was she thinking?
I think she was being pulled by a force.
Yeah, I do too.
I guess the council.
Yeah. Rude.
Yeah. Let those ladies move. Or let that woman and her children move.
Yeah. That wasn't really nice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Mac, for having this conversation with me about a Chinese ghost story and Ghostwatch.
It was so fun.
And thank you, Wohos, for joining us and for all your support. It means the world of horror to us, truly. We appreciate you downloading the show and telling all your friends all about us. And new Wohos, I need to put something at the top. We welcome you with open arms. Next time, what will we be looking at, Mac? We've got folk horror, spiders, found footage, and weird horror.
I want weird horror.
Okay. Well, that means we'll be looking at Lair of the White Worm and Together. Remember, Wohos, we love you and don't go into the basement.
Yay!